Welcome to the Brian Nhira podcast. My name is Brian Nhira, and I am your host. So excited that you joined me today. I am going to be talking about how I built my following on Facebook. Now, I started really interacting on Facebook as an independent artist in, I believe, 2011, 2012. And like everybody, I started with zero followers. Okay, I did have a couple because all of my family liked my page. And I remember during that time, you were allowed to essentially like invite people to come and like your page. So I would invite all of my friends on my personal page, and a lot of them wouldn't like my page or they wouldn't follow my page, which is okay. I forgive them now. Our current count is over 800,000 followers on the Facebook page. But, you know, I want to just let you know that you have to start somewhere. And so I say that in all of these videos on how I built these different social media platforms, but it's so important because starting is the hardest part. Starting is always the part that takes the most courage. It's easier when you have hundreds of thousands of people or even thousands and thousands of people following you, engaging on your page. It's easier, you know, to keep it going, to keep your motivation up. But when you first started something, you know, on Facebook, it's not easy. You got to continue to be faithful. And so that the first thing that I want to encourage you is that consistent content will always be important. Even when people aren't engaging with it at the rate that you want them to, making sure that you're consistently posting on Facebook is so important. Because the Facebook algorithm loves when you post a lot. It loves it. And this is the thing. The Facebook algorithm, it changes often. But one consistent that we've seen in the last 10 years is that when you post consistently, they will always give your content exposure. Okay? So it's so important that you post consistently, and you can have hundreds of thousands of followers on your page, but if you don't post consistently, Facebook will not send your posts out to a lot of people. They won't even send it out to all of the people who who currently follow and like your page. Okay? But as you consistently post, as you're posting on a weekly basis, we're trying to post like 5 to 7 times a week. 5 to 7 times a week we're trying to post, okay? But then this is what happens, especially for independent artists, creators, and whatnot, when you're posting your content. Oh, I just want to debunk one myth real quick. And it's the myth that a lot of people are believing that Facebook doesn't matter anymore. Facebook absolutely, positively matters, especially to the independent artist, especially to the creator. Facebook is the biggest, it's by far the biggest social media platform that we have. Get back on Facebook ASAP because you need Facebook in the current music industry climate that we are living in, okay? Plus, this is like a side note, and like we're talking about how I built my following on Facebook, but it's these ideologies that I'm talking about right now. These ideologies are like subscribing to them, and I'll be very honest. My manager and brother has been essentially a Facebook guru. The way that he's used Facebook boosting to build the page, the way that he's constantly been up to date and relevant in the changes that are happening to the Facebook algorithm have really helped us build the platform. Okay, but Facebook is so important. Use Facebook, please, okay? Posting consistent content. The reason why you need to post consistent content is because you do not know which piece of content is going to go viral, okay? And this is the thing. One of the ways that you build your audience is by viral posts. Viral posts, they come every now and then. They don't come, every day or every week. They might come once a once a month if you're really good, if your content is really good. But this is the thing, when you have those moments, it's those moments that you have to capitalize, and when that consistent content posting really pays off. Because when you have one viral video that allows people to come back to your page and they scroll through your page and they see all of the content, then they start buying into what you're doing on your Facebook page. And as they start to buy into what you're doing on your Facebook page, they start to become your fans. And they start to become the evangelists that ultimately help share. Oh, that's another reason why. That's another reason why you should use Facebook. Because the sharing mechanism on Facebook is the easiest of any platform on social media. Right? And so that's how we grow. We grow as artists, independent artists and creators, when people share our content. And there is no other social media platform that is easier to share content on than Facebook. Okay? So that's another reason why. When you have those viral posts, I remember I had Would You Still Love Me was like the first big viral video. And during that time, it was like they kind of reeled it back, actually significantly reeled it back. But the exposure rate on videos on Facebook, like 5 years ago, it was essentially like TikTok right now, where it was unbelievably easy for people to find your stuff, right? But then obviously, Facebook started, boosting their ad services. And so they kind of reeled it back to make it a little bit harder. For your stuff to be seen. But still, it is not impossible to have a viral video on Facebook. I remember Would You Still Love Me went absolutely positively viral. And then I had deleted on accident. I had deleted that video, which was tragic. I basically had a panic attack. But then we reposted it. It did not get as many views. But then probably 6 months later, it just so happened, I don't even know if we had boosted it or what, but Would You Still Love Me was like essentially going through the system again. It was getting a little bit of exposure, and it went viral, 2 times as viral as the first time. I think it has over like 70 million views on Facebook right now, right? But that post has helped build the platform. But then what has helped sustain the growth has been the consistent content that we're putting up. Does that make sense? Okay. And I say this in every single video, this next thing, in every single podcast that I do talking about, building my social media platforms, but I'm going to say it every time because it's so important. Engage with your audience. It's actually so important to Facebook is the easiest place to create a community. It's the easiest social media platform for you to be able to create a community that you can interact and go back and forth with. And one of the easiest ways to interact and engage, if you're having a hard time figuring out what that looks like for yourself, one of the easiest ways to interact and engage with your audience is by replying to their content, to their comments. Okay? I'll say that again. One of the easiest ways to engage with your audience is by replying to their comments. Okay, this is a very funny story. So a couple days ago, I was at my friend's house, and his mom was in town from New York City. And his mom actually knew about me before I knew her son. But she said, whenever I got there to the house, the first things that she said to me was, "I can't believe you replied to my comment on Facebook." Yes, that's what she said to me. And sometimes it feels like insignificant, like, oh, I'm replying to these comments, it doesn't really matter. But no, you're creating meaningful connections with your audience, which helps you build your audience, which helps you build your Facebook. Okay? Engage with your content, with your audience. Let them into your life. Sometimes switch up the content. If you're an independent artist, switch up the content a little bit. Don't just post about your music. Sometimes post about your life. What are you doing in life? Post about the vacations that you have. And those are just some ways that you can build your Facebook. I hope that helped you today. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this episode of the Brian Nhira podcast. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you like to listen or watch on.